Hey guys, it's Trax, and today we're gonna be talking about how to play rhythm guitar and backing instrumentals like a misogynistic incel. In my last tutorial, I kind of just said learn music theory, and I didn't teach much, so apologies. I've also kind of scripted this one. I've got a bullet point list over here covering all the topics, so it should flow much nicer. So thanks for bearing with me. All right, let's start. First of all, you gotta pick a key that you want to play in. Man, this mic placement sucks. Right, so let's play in the key of E. How the hell do you do that? So, as you all know, E is the open string, is the sixth open string on a guitar. Anyone can play it. A baby that's blind and deaf can play it. But how the hell do you play the rest of the notes? Well, you follow a simple pattern: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. What the hell does that mean? Well, a tone is two frets, and a semitone is one fret. So in the key of E, it would be pretty simple pattern. Now, in case you were wondering, those keys are E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp. Alright, and for those of you wondering, Trax, you said 7 things, but you played 8 things. The 8th thing I played is the exact same note as the first thing I played, because it loops back around, so you only have seven notes. Alright, now I know what you're wondering. How the hell do I start playing rhythm guitar? Stop telling me about notes. Alright, to start, you gotta play chords. What the hell is a chord? Well, if you've played guitar for more than 5 minutes, you know a chord is the first, the third, and the fifth note in a series. That's a major chord. A minor chord is the first, a flattened third, and the fifth in a series. So, for example, a C chord is, I know it's C, E, G, and a C minor chord will be a C and a D sharp and a G, right? That's chords, but obviously if you're playing fast and hard and you're playing, you know, very sort of like rock influenced, you're gonna realize that, like, say I have a B minor, like, I'm not gonna be able to fit that into a fast song, right? Very effectively. If you throw in loads of effects, sure, maybe, but it's gonna be very, very hard to play. So that brings us onto the other thing you can play for rhythm guitar, which is dyads. Now, there's 2 types of dyads. Most popular one is the power chord. The power chord is just the first and the fifth string, so it's tonally ambiguous, which makes it very popular because your mind kind of fills in the blanks of, is this a major chord, is this a minor chord? So you just need to worry about hitting the right notes. You don't need to worry about playing specifically a major or specifically a minor. Power chords do lend themselves more to being played in major keys. So it does get quite hard if you're very, very, like, intentionally trying to write something in a minor key and just playing power chords. But major keys work pretty well. The Ionian mode is the most popular for a reason. It's not only easy to play in, but it just sounds cool. It's emotionally adaptable. Like, you can make it sound however you want. You can impose the kind of feelings you want over it. Although there are a few times you'll want to play in a minor chord, which brings us to the second type of dyad, which is I don't actually know its name, but it's the first and the third in a series. So, for example, like this. That's a minor, and this is a major, right? Yeah, this makes it easier to play in a minor key, which is the Aeolian mode. So I did this in a song I wrote called Catch Me Concrete Floor in my latest album Bail. It kind of goes something like this. Which, if you listen closely, is just me throwing in some more in-key notes while playing. Yeah, it's a very, very, like, overused chord progression, but I've shortened it to dyads to make it have a little more, rock flavor. So there's your chords and your dyads, the absolute key to playing fast music. One thing I forgot to mention that's very, very important. You can play a power chord with 3 fingers. What you do is you hold your small finger on the third note down, on the third string down, sorry, so it'll be 6, 5, and 4, and then you just play them all at once. Oh shit, that's my fucking jack. I need a new rig, man. So it'll sound like this. Right? You can jump it down to the 5th string, but if you try on the 4th string, it doesn't work anymore, just because of how a guitar's tuned. You can retune your guitar to make it work. I wouldn't recommend it, because it throws off all the, like if you've learned the major scale to a standard tuned guitar, or a half-step tuned guitar, it's gonna throw you off a lot. It's not worth it. Just learn to play around it, and you'll be fine. You shouldn't be playing chords on strings too high up anyway, because you want your lead guitar to have those higher frequencies, and you don't want your rhythm and lead to be clashing. So yeah. Alright, now that you know a chord, let's learn to play, right? No, it sounds like shit. Why? Because you need a chord progression. Now, there's 7 chords, as you know, each corresponding to the notes in a key, right? And they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Wow, who would have fucking guessed? I love music theory. It's so creative and not fucking stupid at all. So your chords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How do you pick a chord progression? Well, let's just pick numbers that I like, right? Let's pick a 1. Let's do fuck, dude, let's do 7. And then we'll do what is that? That's a 7. And then we'll do a 4 and a 2. That sounds like dog shit, right? But according to music theory, that should work. They're all in key. So how do I get a chord progression that sounds good instead of just a chord progression that's in key? This is like something a lot of people just don't tell you for some reason. It's that there's different types of chords, right? 1, 3, and 6 are tonics. 1, let's play in the key of G. That's your major tonic, because in a major key, it's gonna be your root note. Then there's 3. 3 is your median tonic. It's halfway between your major and your minor. It can function as a substitute for like 1 and 5, weirdly enough, like to build some tension, because it's got a lot of the same notes, but it's not quite there, so you use it to build tension. Very useful in like in a pre-chorus, or hell, even in your whole song if you just wanted to have a bit of a tense feel. And then there's 6, which is fuck, that's your minor tonic. Now 2 and 4 are your subdominants. Your subdominants typically want to follow into dominants, right? Let's pick here's 2 and here's 4. So you can already kind of hear, if you have a a tonic into a subdominant. It's building something. It's got that push pull tension. Now, how do you bring it home, right? You use a dominant. A subdominant leads to a dominant. There are two dominants. There are 5 and 7. Now, the reason you only ever hear 5 used as a dominant and never 7 is because jumping from 5 to 1 again, so if you go like 1, 4, 5, and we'll go 5 again, and then back to 1, that's perfect cadence. Sounds great. Sounds great, right? You're back on a root note, you get perfect cadence, sounds amazing. It's a little happy though. You can do the inverse, 1 to 5. It's called half cadence. It still brings you home, but it's a little bit of a rockier road, so to speak. Now, the reason you don't hear 7 at all is because it sounds like dog shit. It's technically in key, but it's really harsh. It doesn't have any cadence. It's technically a dominant because it pulls really hardly back to the first, but like it's a half step, it's a semitone, it's a jump, so it doesn't quite feel like it's quite there. You know, if I play 1, 4, 5, 7, I'll play it. It sounds a lot better because the 5's there, so you can piece together in your mind. Because if you ever use 7th chords, you really want them to be passing chords. You don't want to linger on them too long. And that's the reason many people don't use them, because a 3-chord progression is very easy and a 4-chord progression can build a lot of tension, right? So all you have to do is balance your chords. So make sure you have tonics, subdominants, and dominants, right? Typically you want a tonic to follow into a subdominant, into a dominant, back into a tonic. You can, however, as I mentioned previously, substitute a 5 for a 3, so you could have like a and it sounds quite nice, but it's a little tense as well. So if you have a pre-chorus and your chord progression includes a 5 chord, swapping that out for a 3 chord in the chord progression is very nice. It helps bring the whole song back. Alright, now we're gonna move into the final part of the basics of rhythm guitar. Now, what is like the final part of the basics? I have it written down, but I didn't pull up my notes. Give me a second. I wrote a script. I should be fucking following it. Oh yeah. It's rhythm, right? If I have a that sounds boring. That sounds lame as fuck. Even though it should sound nice. It's a tonic into a subdominant, into a dominant, back into a tonic. It's perfect cadence. It's got push-pull. It's like, according to theory, it should sound nice, but it sounds like dog shit. Why? Because your rhythm's out of whack. Your rhythm is garbage. Right? The whole point of a song is that it's push-pull, it's building tension, releasing tension, it's a balancing act. And it's very easy to balance on solid ground, but it's also very, very fucking boring. Right? If you add enough drums and enough lead over I guess it'll sound alright. But you don't want to do the exact same strumming pattern for every single song. So brings us into timing. A bar is divided into 4 notes, which you can divide into it's divided into 4 beats per bar in 4/4 timing, which you can divide again into eighths for a half beat. Most songs will do this. I did this in my song Parasocial Relationships, where I went fucking what was it? Yeah, that okay, I got it. Which is a C F A G chord progression, right? And what did I do for that? Well, you might have noticed I played some shit where it sounded like I was kind of slapping the guitar. That's a dead note. Not a dead note, sorry. Dead notes are different. That was palm muting. You place your palm against the guitar and you play a string. So, you know. It helps build more rhythm. The rhythm I did for Parasocial Relationships was a beat followed by 6 eighth beats. So it's 8 half beats in total. So it still fits a bar perfectly. But it's less like repetitive, I guess is the way to put it. It still was quite, but it was like one of the first ones I wrote. If you want to get really advanced, you can throw in like, right? You can do dead, not dead, mute, open, mute, open, and then mute, open. That's 8 half notes in a bar. It sounds pretty good, right? And there's basically infinite combination of these that you can do. Another thing you can do is like syncopate your song, where you play your note a 8th bar early. So you'll play it an 8th bar early or an 8th bar late. So you'll do 9 and then you'll do 8 and then you'll do 8 and then you'll do 7 to finish your 4 loop, right? Because that's kind of how you want to build a song. You want to build it in 4 chords. Even if it's a 3-chord progression, you're playing a chord twice. It's just easier to write lyrics to. But if you're doing it's something like that, you have 9 eighth notes and then 2 regular, 8/8, or yeah, it's still in 4/4. But you get what I'm saying. So you go 9/8/8/7. It still adds up, the same as your 4/8s. You don't need a math degree to know that. And it just makes your song sound nicer if there's a good rhythm to it, especially if you're counter-rhythming a different tune with your bass, with your drums, or even with your lead. It gives the listener something to focus on, like multiple things at a time. If I'm focusing as a listener on 3 things at a time, I'm not going to notice that your drums are kind of shit because they're like MIDI, right? Because I'm thinking, oh hey, the guitar and the bass are playing 2 different things, but it sounds good, right? Well, I'm not going to be literally thinking that, but it's going to be writing in my subconscious. So making sure you mix up your timing and patterns is really useful. Another thing that I did in that same song, Parasocial Relationships, was I ditched the palm muting on the chorus. So it was right? So the chorus had a little bit more of a build up than the verse. Another thing I'm doing here, you don't hear it, but that fits in 1 bar. It's a mix of notes, even double notes, 8th notes, mix everything together. As long as it adds up to 4 beats in a bar, just throw in random numbers. As long as it adds up to 8, you'll be fine. if you want to make your listener feel a certain way, it helps to not write the song in a way that would be contrary to your goals. For example, if I wanted the listener to feel a little bit like tired, I would play in a lower BPM, and I would play very repetitive, like a, I wouldn't be going like, I wouldn't be doing that if I wanted them to feel like melancholic. It's too much energy. So the the timing and the rhythm matter a lot. And as I mentioned before, build-ups, your verses shouldn't be more energetic than your chorus. You don't need a chorus, you don't need a pre-chorus. It's just, this is typical. So that's all I can. Oh yeah, this arpeggios, which is when you play each like note on a chord individually. It happens in Don't Fear the Reaper. I shouldn't play too much of that. I don't want to get copyright struck. Yeah, arpeggios, playing each note of a chord individually, as long as it adds up to 8 half beats, you're fine, and it can help for the mellower parts of the song. Right now, when you've got all your instrument cuts and you wanna bring your recordings into DAW to actually produce your song, rhythm guitar is great. It's not everything. You're gonna want to incorporate more instruments. Over either your verse, you wanna maybe have a light lead, just to fill out the fact that it's less hype than the chorus, and then have a heavier lead on the chorus. Put some bass over your verses and your chorus, just to fill out the wavelengths. Another thing you can do to give yourself a wide sound is to layer your guitar, do 2 recordings of the exact same thing, and pan them out to each ear, so you'll have, I'd say 30 to 70% is a good range for a pan. You can layer without panning. It'll help cover your bases. It'll help if you fucked up on one chord specifically. It's less, audible in the mix. One thing I fucking hate about music is like there's so many talented people out there, but then like if you're a female musician, you're just easier because you can just twerk your ass on a stage, and then some fucking record company would just be like, hey, you'd make a great fucking industry plant, you want to go like advertise our fucking products for us? And you just have like a blatantly an easier time. You're like advantaged in pretty much every sector, and then there's always gonna be someone in the comments saying like, oh, that's only attractive women, but like, bro, Lizzo's up there, so like clearly not. I kind of just like, and it's not even just music too, it's like more empathy, like just generally, and because people see you as weaker, people are gonna be nicer to you. They're gonna like just give you subtle advantages because they think you're behind, but then the way laws are established, you're not actually behind, so in a way you're just ahead. If you look at the averages, it's just like the average man isn't some billionaire, isn't some fucking, like, you can say like, oh, men in music make more money. It's like, no, they don't. You're looking at like the successful ones. You don't. It's like survivorship bias. I'm getting so fucking off topic. What was I saying? Yeah, EQs are great for rhythm guitar because they can help push you out of the higher frequencies if you accidentally go in, if you're clashing for those higher frequencies with the lead. I like to use Fruity Parametric EQ too. Another good thing is distortion to add. Helps fill out the it just makes it sound better. Yeah, fruity fast distortion. I think it's just called fruity fast dist. Fruity blood overdrive is a good one too. Bit crusher, I like to use Kilohertz Bit Crush. You can use any. Fuck it, man. You can pirate shit. It doesn't matter. If you like this video, like, subscribe. You can check out some of my music. I'm on all platforms. I'm on Spotify. You can check me out on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/lyingontracks, no spaces, no caps. Thanks for watching, guys.
I can't make content for shit, cause I'm a worthless fucking prick. You're on the internet, I should end my shit. End my shit. Pollute the net with my bad vids. Always rush but never quick, but that's alright because I'll end